name's Sanjay Maya Grek and I'm bringing you another video. Now, today is going to be a different video. Right now I'm doing this series of back to school playlist, and I thought this would be the perfect time to say about my dyslexia. And so first I'm gonna tell you what it is, and then I'm gonna tell you my personal, how I coped with it and blah blah blah. So we'll start. So you might be saying, what is dyslexia? Well, dyslexia is a specific learning difficulty that affects in 1 in every 5 students, so that is equal to 20% of the world population. And yeah, that's how you can summarize it. So that being said, it's a specific learning difficulty, meaning that it's every child has a different, it's never the same. Some may struggle in doing something, some may struggle in reading, some may struggle in writing. It's never the same thing, so that is why it's very difficult to find coping skills, because you need to find coping skills that will help you. Dyslexia is genetic. There's a gene called DC2, and what it means is that, for example, if I'm dyslexic, either my mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandfather, my aunt, my niece, no, not my niece, my goodness. Anyway, someone in the family must be dyslexic, so I'll be dyslexic. And it's also a lifelong thing, so you're born with it and you're going to die with it. It's never going to appear just in some age, and it's never just going to end in some age. So dyslexia, you might think it only affects reading and writing and stuff like those. Well, actually it doesn't. It even affects how you pronounce words. Sometimes I pronounce words completely different that they should be, and sometimes it just goes really wrong. And also there are like other skills, such as getting confused from left to right, up and down, above, under, front, back. You get lost really easily, and lost not just when you read, even for example going to the street or something, you just don't have any like distance understanding and stuff. Some even struggle with tying their laces, buttoning their shirts, these basic things. So it's not just reading or writing, and it even now, this is really important. Many didn't understand me when I was saying this, but in dyslexia, when you're dyslexic, you really lose focus, really, just like easy, like this. You just get distracted by the little noise that comes. So here's a perfect example of what I mean when I say it's not just reading and writing. As you can see, there's time management, there's more to dyslexia than just struggling in schoolwork. So, and also, as dyslexic, I wanna remove this myth that as dyslexic we just see everything backwards, sort of like we see it as B and vice versa. Well, we do mix them up, but it's not because we're seeing them mirror writing or everything backwards. It's because they are so similar. I mean, B and D are so similar, and P and Q and I and J, and just those letters that are similar, we get them confused. Also, for example, mine, I tend to spell phonetic, and what this means is, for example, you have book, I write B-U-K, book. It's how I write, I hear. Now, book, it's supposed to be with double O, but it's how I hear, I write it. Also, there's another thing. As dyslexic, we can't even remember our own spelling. For example, I've seen my copybook from last year, and there was this specific words. I think, it was mosquito, and I wrote it in the same page 4 times differently. I just literally laughed. Also, those who have dyslexia tend to also get ADD or ADHD, and ADD is attention deficit disorder, and ADHD is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. These are 2 other things that comes sometimes if you're dyslexic, you're most likely to even have these ones. What I can't even stand anymore is when people say, oh, don't worry, grades aren't that important, it's your capability and stuff. But no, actually they are important. We live in a century that without grades or without a certificate or anything, you're not going to university, they're not gonna hire you. No, you need grades. Just because they shouldn't be important doesn't mean they're not important. They are important. So instead of telling us, oh, don't worry, help us, if for example we're struggling to do a certain obstacle, then just help us with it. Not say, oh, don't worry, just give up on it, you're better in something else or whatever. No, it's not like that at all. Now that you know what dyslexia is, I'm now going to tell you my experience. So when I was 4.5 and started going to school, my mom immediately found out that I had something different from other people, from my other classmates. It's not that I was bad or anything, it's just because I was always doing different stuff from them. They're learning in a way, and I just learn from another way. And she reads a lot, and so she once read about dyslexia, so she took me to be diagnosed, and I turned out to be borderline. And what this means is that I'm sort of dyslexia and sort of not, because dyslexia come in different stages, like borderline, mildly, and goes up to even severe, which I have, but I'll tell you more about that. So yeah, and it turned out I was borderline, and so nobody really took care. They're like, oh, okay, so whatever. And I came to year 1, I was 5 years old, and I was really good. I was like at the top of my class, I was always good. And then came year 2, and I was like getting lower marks. I was like saying, oh, I should study then, and I started studying. And then year 3, I came even lower. I wasn't like not passing, but I was like, for example, 70, something like that. And what really broke me is I was studying a lot and got 70s, and then I see other students trying no effort whatsoever, and they're all getting 90s and 100s, and it made me really frustrated. I was like saying, okay, yeah, I'm not failing, I'm getting good marks, 70s, but I'm working my butt off. I should have much higher marks, you know. And so yeah, and then in year 4, it's when this exploded. We used to have dictation every single week, and it was really hard because I never got good marks. The best mark I got in a dictation was, I think it was 2. Yeah, I remember it was 2. Yeah, I remember sitting down. My mom would have like these telephone notes, they're like pieces of paper, like sticky notes, but they're just papers, and you just write the number. And I remember there was this one night, me and my mom stayed all night long, just me writing the words and stuff, and I was just so prepared. I went that day very happy and very confident, and then I was like, yeah, I did it. At the end of the day, when the teacher corrected our test and stuff, he said, I need to speak to your mother. And I was like, oh yay, I did so well. He thought I cheated or something. That's what my mind got into. So, but in fact, no, I got 0. Oh my god, I cried literally. And then my mom said, well, she is dyslexic here. And he's like, it was a male, this teacher, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I really didn't know you had blah 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 blah. And so the next dictation, he came up to me and said, hey, if you want to like take a look from the book, you can, And as soon as he said that, he didn't say it out loud or anything, but it was good enough for people around me to hear, and they just started looking at me so like, what? She's having special treatment, like, and that's the thing. Dyslexia is hidden. It's not shown. It's not like you're in a wheelchair and it's shown that you have a difficulty. So, and yeah, I was scared, but I just put up the book because that's what he told me. And then my classmates were like always teasing me and always like saying, oh, you're his favorite, I understand, you're his pet, and blah blah blah, so you don't study, yeah? And I just never brought that book up again. So I was like, I don't care if I failed as long as the teacher knows why I'm failing. And I went up, and I went to year 5, year 6, and then I went to Form 1. Form 1, you're in age 11. It's sort of like secondary school, you know? Sort of like the high school, but it's not really, because it's primary and secondary. And yeah, Form 1, I don't remember much about Form 1. I know there was this one excellent teacher that she used to just teach really, really good, but she never understood my dyslexia. She just said, oh, you should just try harder, you just try harder, you know? Then in Form 2, I was like getting lower marks every single time, sometimes not even passing, and I was studying a lot, you know. And then Form 3, it's like that's when this whole blame thing, there was this specific LSA that she noticed I was different, and she was like, hey, can I talk to you? And we started chatting and stuff. And then I told her that I was dyslexic, and I said, but I'm borderline, but I don't think I'm borderline. I think I'm more than just borderline. And so after some times, I had really good teachers helping me, even the school head. She like helped me and stuff, and I got diagnosed again to a different person. And it turned out I was not just borderline dyslexia, I was severe dyslexia. That's the worst type of dyslexia you can have, because it's the most powerful, you know. And so when it came out severe dyslexia, I was like, oh, and I went through my whole entire primary school and half of the secondary school saying I was just borderline. I barely had it. In fact, I really had it immensely. And I also got diagnosed that I was ADHD, and that was a real shock for me. I didn't think I was ADHD, but I guess that explains a lot why I'm so hyper and everything. And yeah, that really like opened my eyes. I started finding coping skills, what I could do or what I can't do, you know. And I realized I used to be the class clown. I never, like, that's why I used to get in so much trouble. I used to just hide my, because this is the thing, dyslexic people, they tend to be either the class clown or they end up being the most quietest people. And they do that because they don't want to show um, that they're finding it difficult. They don't want people to find that they're struggling, you know. Because it's because if like I said before, it's not like you're in a wheelchair showing. It's hidden, and so people won't really know about it. So yeah, and that passed, and Form 4 passed. Like now I'm going to Form 5. I'm getting my O levels slash GSCs, yeah. And yeah, I'm studying for them. I have like tactics. All my teachers in secondary school, Form 3 and Form 4, they all were so understanding. They helped me so much. I'm getting higher grades now because they're teaching me in a way. They're all like young. They just came from university. They're all in their 20s and stuff. And so it's really nice that they understood me instead of pushing me down. And yeah, my life was like that. When I was young, I didn't really think it was that big. You know, I was just, oh, then I'm stupid. That's it. And I just went through life thinking I was stupid. And this tends to have happened a lot to people who have dyslexia. They end up saying, oh, then they're stupid. You know, because no one really gives them an answer. But in Form 3, you know, it just takes one person, you know, it just takes one person to see it, and then it blew everything, and now I'm just much happier and much more confident, and just, you know, I'm not sad to say I'm dyslexic, you know. And just like I said before, it doesn't mean I'm a genius, but what it means is that I am smart. It's just I have a huge handicap. There was the last week there was this guy, and he told me that I'm really smart. The thing I have is that I have a big handicap that drags me down, and he explained it in a way that it just keeps in my mind. He said, imagine there is a race, and you're the fastest one, but you have to carry this big rock with you, like boulder or something. I don't know what it's called. You need to carry it with you, so that's obviously going to slow you down from the other teams that are racing. I don't know how to explain, but he did something like that and just stick to my mind. So yeah, this is the video. I'm sorry, it may have been a little bit sad, but I just had to say it because I know that most of you are my friends. This will help you to understand me more, and I could tell you a little bit about myself also. And I know maybe some of you guys may be dyslexic, and to show you that you guys are not alone. Dyslexia is a real thing, and it affects 20% of the world, and I really think there should be a special like course for them. But here in Malta, we're barely seen on the map sometimes. So yeah. But I know out there are special schools for dyslexia. There are even like there are companies that wish to have dyslexic people with them because of their visual thinking and their abstract understanding, and like because then our brain just works in a different way. That's all it really is. Our brain just works in a different way. It's not because it's smarter or less smart or anything. It just works in a different way. So I'm going to conclude this video here because I can imagine it being like 15, 16, 17 minutes long, and I don't want to bore you anymore. And just look forward to my next of the playlist of my videos of the playlist back to school. So see you next time.